Batman Arkham Origins was always seen as the black sheep of the Arkham franchise. The only game not developed by Rocksteady, while also telling the origins of Arkham's Joker as well as showing us all what a Batman with almost no limits or patience would really be like. I've always liked Arkham Origins, but I did always feel like it was the game that didn't click as well as the other games in the series. But I have to be honest here, replaying it after playing Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I really think this is the most underrated game in the series, and is arguably more consistent and entertaining than both Arkham City and Asylum. Now before you jump at my throat and scream, but Arkham City is the best Batman, yada 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 yada, I still agree with you. Yes, Arkham City is, in the general consensus, the best Arkham game, okay? Some would say objectively, but you know, not everyone's going to agree with that, so you can't really say objectively, but in a general sense, objectively, it is the best Arkham game. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. And I think they are right, but for me, from a pure entertainment standard, Arkham Origins really just smashes it when compared to those games. You get boss battles, check. A slightly bigger open world, check. More upgrades, check. Soundtrack, check. Acting, check. Cinematics, check. Like, guys, this is not a bad game. Anyway, sit down, tighten your glutes, and let's talk about Batman Arkham Origins.
I seen your act. I ain't done nothing you not done.
Okay, so Batman Arkham Origins tells the story of a younger Batman. Not necessarily naive, but arrogant. He takes threats head on, not really thinking too much about the consequences, and I love that. Not too much. Obviously, he does think about the consequences, but nowhere near as Arkham Asylum, City, or Night. Sure, it's always cool to see a more experienced Batman that, you know, is like the most badass orphan you'll ever meet, but Origins really doesn't pull its punches. It captures what a younger Batman would really be like super well. Combine that with being surrounded by 9 assassins, some of which he has never met before, and you get a super solid, entertaining story that is more of a mystery most of the time, and it never lets up. I mean, let's be honest, you enjoy watching a mad Batman break ribs and smash heads in while he takes the moral high ground. Like, come on, who doesn't? You meet Penguin, Bane, Firefly, Electrocutioner, even though he's kind of a waste, this person who poisons you and stuff like that, and you know, you can really turn your brain off and the story will make sense. Sure, to some that would be disappointing, but I just found myself enjoying it.
Right, I can tell you the location.
You already did.
Now there are some issues. First off, the main villain, I'm gonna spoil that now, so 3, 2, 1. So yeah, Joker is the main villain again. They advertised the game saying Black Mask is going to be the main villain, and I remember everyone being pretty excited about that, especially since Black Mask isn't really used that much, and when he is, he's in Birds of Prey. I did not like that film, but of course it turns out the Joker is behind it all because it's Joker and it's Batman. You can't have Batman without Joker in Arkham games, apparently. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially since it does feel like a different dynamic between Batman and Joker, especially with the different voice actors, but yeah, it does get tiring because you already know how this is going to go. Joker goes crazy, Batman gets pissed off, and they fight, and here's another villain that is doing Joker's bidding because money or manipulation, you know, it's the same thing. That's why I still respect the Arkham Knight storyline despite how messy it is. They definitely tried to do something different, and I like that. Origins does a great job telling the story of Joker and why he's obsessed with Batman, but at the end of the day, it's something we've seen before, and it's been done better, and it's been done with more nuance, you know? And I'm not talking about fucking Suicide Squad. That film is an abomination, man. Not the new one. I mean, the new one isn't that good. I think it's really overrated, but you know, this is a gaming channel. We're not going to get into that. It tells a pretty good origin year 1 Batman story while upping the ante compared to other Arkham games. The soundtrack absolutely slaps. I think it's the best soundtrack of the series in my opinion. I also love what they did with the side characters like Alfred, Gordon, Barbara, etc. None of them get a good amount of screen time, but the times you do get with them feel unique to the series, especially since they changed the actor for Gordon like 3 times, I think, throughout the series for some reason. But the standout side character is Alfred. He gets some really good lines here. There's a great scene that I'm not going to show in this review because I want people that haven't played this game before to experience it as it's intended, and I really like some of the lines. You guys know which scene I'm on about. Everyone knows. Everyone knows if you played the game because it's the best scene in the entire game. Anyway, I like the story. I like what they did. I know not everyone will agree, but hey, we're all Batman, okay? We can have our own opinions because we're Batman, okay? We all just want to beat people up and act like we've got the moral high ground, don't we? Kind of. A little bit. Unless you're really nice, which fair play to you.
Expect me to fall for that? I mean, try something original. What the hell are you?
Oh wait, this is a game. We should talk about the gameplay, shouldn't we? Right, let's get it out of the way. Arkham Origins is mainly just a reskin of City, and that's not necessarily a terrible thing. It's clear Origins was made to give Rocksteady more time for Arkham Knight. It's limited by its development time while trying to up the ante with the villains, the story beats, etc. So decisions had to be made. You only get a small addition to the city of Gotham, so it's mainly set in Arkham City before Arkham City was a thing, which is a cool idea. Unfortunately, they reuse a lot of areas from the city, even going as far as using the steel mill again, except it's blue now, so yeah, take that as you will. Sure, it's a cool idea, but I don't think they did enough with the city to really, you know, make it different to Arkham City, especially since there are no civilians out there. The world isn't particularly alive again. I mean, there's a ton of, like, criminals you can beat up, stuff like that, but there's never random events, random civilians. You don't really feel like you're saving everyone. You're just flying around a city and beating people up, which is okay. But you know, if you set it in an actual living open world and there's no story reason for civilians not to be there, you've got to make something with that, but they didn't, which is unfortunate.
A little more pressure and I'll crush your larynx. What's it going to be? All right, all right.
The gameplay changes made here are small, but pretty substantial. New enemies require new tactics. There's like this new ninja enemy, which kind of replaces the sword guys from Arkham City, which is really cool to take on. The animations are great. There are new timings and actually require you to stop spamming and counter enemies, which is also great. There are new upgrades that make your balls tingle with shock. That's sort of a spoiler, so I won't mention that anymore, but there are more upgrades that I won't talk about here. Not as many as I wanted, but there is enough. Combat is great as always, but I did run into a few issues that were more consistent in Origins. Sometimes Batman would hit the air, giving some poor air molecule brain damage rather than hitting the enemies in front of him, giving them brain damage, which is a bit frustrating, but it didn't bother me that much. The stealth is the same. I'm not going to bother talking about it. It's the one thing the Arkham games didn't really improve on that much, even in Arkham Knight. It's good enough, but it's not going to blow your mind like Joe Chill's gun with Batman's parents.
It's fine. It's fine.
What they didn't improve on and ignored a lot was the gadget selection. There are no new gadgets, and the gadgets they claim to add are just reskins of the freeze grenade and the remote electrical device, as well as the jammer that you can get in Arkham City. So it's not great. It is very unfortunate they didn't expand on the gadgets. I think if you're going to be limited by budget, the best way to go is add a lot of puzzles, add a lot of mystery, add some new gadget variety so you feel like you're playing something new, but they didn't really do that. Boss fights are pretty great here. That was like the biggest selling point of Origins. There is more of them, and some of them are good, but others are once again just reskins of other fights from the series. Like the Poison Girl, I forgot her name, I think it's Copperhead. It's basically the Raish fight from Arkham City, but it's dark rather than sandy. But other fights like Deathstroke was cool, and the Bane fight that I won't show for spoiler reasons is a combination of his fight in Arkham Asylum as well as Killer Croc's fight in Arkham Asylum, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. All in all, there is not much to talk about. I loved playing Origins, but when it comes to reviewing it, I just feel like I'm repeating myself. Origins is a solid cousin of the franchise. I highly recommend you play it, but you aren't missing out on too much if you choose not to, but I do think it's worth checking out at some point. Thank you for watching, like the video if you enjoyed, and maybe stick around by subscribing. Thank you all for the support, really appreciate it. I know the gaming news video didn't do very well yesterday, but hey, they're not going to do well if you're not interested, which is completely fine. They're easy to make. Thank you for watching.